Elon just merged SpaceX and XAI into one company called SpaceX AI. And this week, they shipped their first model under that new name, Grok 4.5. So let's actually look at what changed here, because there's more going on than just a version bump. First thing to know, this isn't the old XAI anymore. Back in April, XAI got folded straight into SpaceX. A few weeks after that, in June, SpaceX agreed to buy Cursor's parent company, Anysphere, in a deal worth $60 billion, paid entirely in stock. That deal haven't even closed yet. It's expected to finish sometime in the third quarter of this year. But the training partnership between the two teams already started, and Grok 4.5 is the first result of that. Under the hood, this model runs on something called the V9 Foundation model. Elon says it's around 1.5 trillion parameters, which is roughly 3 times bigger than the previous base model they were using. Now, size alone doesn't mean much anymore. Everyone's kind of realized that by now. What matters more here is the data. Cursor has something like 4 million developers using it every day, and every one of those sessions, every prompt, every accepted suggestion, every bug the editor caught, that's all structured interaction data. That's a very different kind of training signal than just scraping code off GitHub. So when they say Cursor data went into this model, that's actually a meaningful edge, not just a marketing line. Now let's talk numbers, because this is where it gets interesting. On the Artificial Analysis Intelligence Index, Grok 4.5 lands in 4th place overall. Ahead of it, you've got Fable 5, GPT 5.6, and Claude Opus 4.8. So it's not the smartest model out there, not even close to top 3, but it's still ahead of every open weight model and every version of Gemini right now. And keep in mind, 3 of these top models, Fable 5, GPT 5.6, and now Grok 4.5, all came out within about a month of each other. That kind of pace hasn't really happened since the first reasoning model, O1, dropped back in 2024. On the coding side specifically, the picture is a bit mixed. On Terminal Bench 2.1, Fable 5 still edges it out, 84.3% versus 83.3% for Grok. On SWE-Bench Pro, which is honestly one of the better real-world coding tests out there, Fable 5 sits at 80.4%, Opus 4.8 at 69.2%, and Grok 4.5 comes in at 64.7%. So on raw accuracy, it's behind both of those. But here's the part that actually matters for anyone using this day to day. Grok 4.5 used an average of about 16,000 output tokens to solve those SWE-Bench Pro tasks. Opus 4.8 used around 67,000 tokens for the same kind of task. That's over 4 times more tokens for Opus to get to the same result. So even if Grok isn't winning on raw benchmark score, it's finishing the job using way less output. And output tokens are usually the expensive part of any API bill, so that efficiency actually translates into real savings. Speaking of cost, this is honestly where Grok 4.5 stands out the most. It's priced at $2 per million input tokens and $6 per million output tokens, with cached input dropping down to 50 cents per million. Compare that to Opus 4.8, which runs $5 input and $25 output. That's not a small gap. That's roughly a fourth to a fifth of the cost on the output side. Even against GPT 5.6's cheaper tier, Luna, which runs $1 input and $6 output, Grok is still holding its own. So basically, you're getting a model that performs close to the frontier tier, priced more like a budget tier model. Now, speed. Grok 4.5 runs at around 80 tokens per second right now, which honestly isn't that fast compared to some of what OpenAI has been rolling out lately. But Elon's already said this isn't the ceiling. Apparently, they haven't even deployed their custom inference stack yet, the one built specifically to map onto their new GB300 hardware. Once that's live, he's claiming speeds could double or more. So take that with a grain of salt for now, since it's not shipped yet, but it's worth watching. One thing I want to flag, because it actually matters if you're a developer using Cursor. There was a mix-up where an earlier snapshot of Cursor's own codebase accidentally ended up in the training data for this model. That means some of the cursor-specific benchmark results might be a little inflated, since the model had essentially seen parts of the test already. Cursor has said they're aware of it, they've removed that data going forward, and they're updating the benchmark. But it's a fair asterisk to put next to any cursor-related performance claims for this release. As far as early reactions go, the feedback from actual developers has been mixed but mostly positive. People on Hacker News and in the Cursor Discord are saying it feels noticeably faster inside the editor for smaller, greenfield tasks, stuff like starting a new project or writing something from scratch. But when it comes to big legacy codebases, multi-file refactors, stuff that requires holding a lot of context and reasoning across it, some people are saying Opus 4.8 still handles that better. So it's not a straight upgrade across the board. It depends what you're actually doing with it. Context window is another thing worth mentioning. Right now, Grok 4.5 caps out at 500,000 tokens. That's actually smaller than the previous Grok 4.3, which had a full 1 million token window. So there's a bit of a step back there for now, at least until they expand it again. Where you can actually use this thing, it's live in Grok build, inside Cursor, across every plan, through the XAI console, and it's also plugged into a bunch of model gateways like OpenRouter, Vercel, Cloudflare, Snowflake, and Databricks. One catch though, it's not available in the EU yet. XAI is saying that should open up sometime in mid-July, and it's not just being pitched as a coding model either. Both XAI and Cursor are talking this up for finance and legal use cases too, long document review, structured reasoning tasks, that kind of thing. Whether it actually holds up there is a separate question, since most of the public benchmarks so far are coding focused. Stepping back a bit, the bigger story here isn't really about one model beating another on a leaderboard. It's about the structure forming behind it. XAI now controls the compute through their Colossus cluster, the foundation model itself, and now, once the Cursor deal closes, the actual tool millions of developers use every day, plus the data that tool generates. That's compute, model, product, and data all under one roof. No other lab has quite pulled that off yet. Anthropic and OpenAI have strong models, but they're not sitting on a coding editor with 4 million daily users feeding data straight back into training. So is Grok 4.5 the best model out there right now? No, not on pure intelligence. Fable 5 and GPT 5.6 are still ahead of it on that front. But on price and on how efficiently it gets a task done, it's genuinely competitive, maybe even better in a lot of practical use cases. And with the Cursor data pipeline getting deeper once that acquisition closes, this is probably not the last time we see XAI, or SpaceXAI now, close the gap pretty fast.